Hey, beautiful souls.
Welcome to Bitter to Beautiful. I am Coach Charmin D. Energetic, heartfelt, and always keeping it real.
And I'm Coach Lonette, more reserved, tenacious, honest, and a little funny,
Together, we're here to guide you through transforming your bitterness.
into something truly beautiful. Join us on this journey of healing and empowerment.
Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another uplifting episode of Bitter to Beautiful. I am your host, Coach Charmin D, and today we'll be diving into a very special topic that resonates with many of us: self care. It's not just about pampering yourself, it's about keeping your temple, both physical and spiritually, in tune and nourished. Today's episode is Thriving Spiritually and Physically: Self Care Practices for Healthier Life. Coach Lonette.
Hey, beautiful souls. Coach Lonette joining. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey. We are thrilled to have JustKim Stringer and the Hopkins sisters. We have Miss Cynthia, JustKim, Miss Audrey, and Miss Jennifer with us today. Their dedication to supporting caregivers through their family company has brought light to many. And you may also hear us talking about the Release It Challenge that we have with Coach Kim Stringer. Now, I may need to grab some tissue before this family just blesses my heart, and I can guarantee that they will bless yours too. So, together, we will explore how self care is a pivotal part of thriving, not just surviving, in our daily lives. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we introduce to you JustKim Stringer and the Hopkins sisters. JustKim?
Hello, everyone. I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for inviting us because I do understand the importance of just being connected to this particular community. And my grandmother would tell us if anybody does anything for you, the least you can do is to say thank you. So I just want to tell you guys thank you so much. And I am just delighted to be here. And in the words of Reverend Dr. Matt King Carter, I'm deliciously happy to be here today. So thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it to my mother to introduce herself. And then I always do things in age order. Sorry, Auntie, because she's the baby. So I always do things in age order just so, but it's nothing personal. It's so that I don't forget anybody. Amen. So I'm going to pass it to my mom, Mrs. Cynthia Stringer.
Good evening, everyone. It's just a blessing to be here, and I also want to say thank you. This is something new, but that's okay. I'm just elated to share. I'm the oldest of 6 children. Our parents are Deacon Ananias Hopkins and Sister Rosetta Hopkins, and helping helping is in our blood. As long as I can remember, I was helping. So this is a journey, and no 2 days are the same. And let's just go on this ride, and I'm gonna let my sister Audrey give you a little information about her.
Well, good evening, Bitter to Beautiful. We thank you, as Kim has said. I want to say hello to all my sisters. I get to see them and to see Kim face to face. We take every moment. We don't take these moments lightly when we get a chance and opportunity to come together as a family. And that's basically who we are. I'm Audrey H. Davis. I am an occupational therapist by trade and have been for over now 40 years. And I'm the proud wife of the deceased Reverend James Davis. But today we want to make sure that we help each of those who are listening to understand that, number one, it's a family affair. And that's our slogan, that the caretaking that we learn to do, we learn by watching our family do what they did to help, as my sister said, those who were in need. And we did it as a family. And that's why we're here this evening. We were mandated by God to teach others how to do what he has taught us to do and entrusted us to do. So now I'm going to turn it over to my youngest sister, Jennifer.
Hello, Bitter to Beautiful. And thank you, beautiful ladies, for inviting us once again. Seth has told you who we are. Audrey has told you what we're about. And yes, as the youngest daughter, it carries on to our children and our grandchildren, what we do. And, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, but it is a grand pleasure to even talk about what we're doing and how God has blessed us to get to this point. We also have 3 brothers and their wives and children, and our children, and there's Christie and Ashley, who was not able to be on with us today, who have helped us to work from ground up, and then the others who pour in and give whatever they have to give. So it's just great. I am just made 33 years as a physical therapist at the hospital that I work in Thomasville, and proud of that and grateful to God for allowing me to be here. I enjoy my job. I love what I do, and it has helped with what we're doing. So, proud mother of Christie and Michael and 3 grandboys, and proud sisters of all my family. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies. We are so excited to have you here. I'm like enjoying, my heart is so warm. You guys, you women are an example of, oh Lord. I know it only could be one matriarch, but it seems like the whole family got it taken care of. The whole family, everybody. So thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. So today's scripture reference are Psalms 21, 1 and 3 from the NKJV version. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Let me say that again. He restores my soul. He leads me into the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, the NLT version. Don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. So you must honor God with your body. Coach Lonette?
Honoring God with our bodies. That restores my soul, hit my soul just as well. He leads me beside still waters, and he restores my soul. That's self-care. That's rest, right? That's peace right there. Yes. So now we found some facts that can impact you if you don't take care of yourselves physically and spiritually while playing multiple roles. Coach Charmin, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so we all know and we all understand that juggling multiple roles without self-care is like a spinning plates on a unicycle. Sometimes something will crash because it's just impossible at times. So taking care of yourself physically and spiritually is key so that you're not running on empty. So many of us think that we don't run on empty. We think that we have the capacity to do all things just because, but that's not Jesus. Jesus is the one that can do all things, not us. I'm just saying. Balance is important. Self-care and faith will keep everything steady. If you don't heed this advice, you're likely to face serious issues such as increased health issues. Caregiving often exhibits elevated stress levels leading to physical ailments like high blood pressure, weakened immune system. Chronic stress can result in serious health conditions. Mental health risks. Between 40 to 70% of caregivers show clinical significant symptoms of depression due to high demands and emotional strains roles. Remember, if you're multitasking and you're doing too much, it affects your mental health. Financial strain. Caregivers often face financial burdens, spending an average of $7,000 annually on care-related expenses, which can significantly impact their economic stability. Workplace challenges. Around 60% of caregivers are employed, and many report needing to make major adjustments at work, like reducing hours or facing performance warnings because of their caregiving duties. It takes a lot to be a caregiver, and I know you ladies, you do it so gracefully. Although, let's get the conversation started. Let's put it back on you ladies. So, Kim, you have the Release It Challenge. Let us know why you have stepped into that role of pushing the Release It Challenge. And then we'll follow up regarding Hope by the Bay for your answer to answer.
So the reason why I did the Release It Challenge, I found myself in a position where, when you get older, the pounds they come. It seems like they come out of nowhere, and I know that I am called to speak to people because I am an educator. So and I do that on a daily basis. I had just got back to a school where my office was on the 3rd floor, and I found myself huffing and puffing, getting on back to my office to deal with my students. And like I said, I know that I'm called to talk to people, and I was like, Lord, I can't get on stage and in the pulpit or wherever you would have me to stand and cannot praise the Lord the way that I'm supposed to. So I said, something has to be done. And I was talking to one of my friends, and then I was talking to Coach, as a matter of fact, the same day, both him and Dr. Tavis said, well, why don't you do a challenge? And I was like, oh. And so I prayed about it, because they both were relentless. They were not letting up. And I thank God for that. That's why it's important to have community, because sometimes when God gives us a mandate and order, we tend to step back because we don't think that we can do it. And if you look at me, you won't think that I am the CEO of a Release It Challenge. And that that thought came to me as well. So I had to push back those negative thoughts and press through to create the Release It Challenge. And then I prayed about it, and I said, God, what can I call it? And he said, I don't want to call it a weight loss challenge, because I don't want to lose the weight, because when you lose stuff, you try to go back and find it. We tend to find the things that we lose. But when we release things, I want it to be released into God's hands. So that's where the name came from. And then sometimes we have to release some things to him so that our hands are open, our heart is open, our mind is open, so that he can release some things back to us. So that's where that came from. I really just want to have a healthier body. And I know what scripture says, that our body is a temple. So I want us to be healthy in not just our physical bodies, but in our lives, period, in our minds, in our with our relationship with God, all of that. And that's where it came from.
Okay. So we releasing the weight and we releasing all the stuff that's going. Yeah, that's necessary. I needed that.
Oh, absolutely. Because you know that the eating habits come from emotional triggers. Mm-hmm. Many times. So those are some of the things that I wanted us to release back to God. You don't have to eat because you're bored. You don't have to eat because you're depressed. You don't have to eat because you're happy. Mm-hmm. So what we're actually learning to do is control our thoughts, that control our decisions, that control our words, that control our actions. So that's what we're learning through the Release It Challenge.
Yes. We need all that. Yes, we need all that. It all comes together. It's all very important, especially mental. So, auntie, I don't call Auntie Cynthia, Auntie Cynthia. I call her Mama Cynthia, as if she was my mama. And me and Kim, me and you sisters.
And listen, everybody, y'all, you all do that, but everybody else in our life call her Auntie Cent. Like my son, her only grandchild, calls her Auntie Cent.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool. So, okay, Mama said, so why the Hope by the Sea? What did tell me you mentioned that you guys have been in a family of caregivers. So tell me why. Why was that your choice to put that together for your family?
The history. This is what we know, as well as this is what we saw. And all of us actually are in the healthcare field. So it's not just at home. I work with individuals with disabilities, and I've been working in this area actually ever since I started working in 1975 in various areas. But it didn't just start with our parents. We helped with our grandparents. I was the caregiver along with my nephew for my husband. So it's in our blood. It's in our blood. And the thing about it is we can pull all our experiences and that's what we do. Because we realize everyone cannot do this. Even in our family, we all know what our specialty area is. So even as we continue to be caregivers, we're always there are people that know us. We're talking to people all the time, but it's what we grew up with. Our grandparents, they were caregivers. Our parents, actually both our grandparents on my mother and father's side. And we enjoyed it. I have to say, I remember when I joined the church, I was 8 or 9, and my thing was I wanted to serve the Lord, and I want to be a servant. And being a servant to me is helping others. Whatever I can do. So it's like I say, it's in our blood, and this is what we know. And we can use it not just in our 9 to 5, but even during when we are home visiting, wherever the need is.
Okay. I'm sorry. I said the wrong. It's Hope by the Bay. Forgive me.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll be seeing some different things on the screen. So, Auntie Jennifer, what about you? Why? Why Hope by the Bay? Why for you? What does that mean to you?
Well, it means that I can have something to do nearing retirement. And that's one of the things that stirred us up, because we would have a early morning phone call, and we would all start talking about, okay, it's, we all getting close to retirement. What are we gonna do? And honestly, years ago, our brothers would say, everybody in you all in the medical field, and they were contractors, construction contractors, and they would say, now we could build this, we could do that, and you all could have, a nursing home, or you could have a care home or whatever. But we got all busy, went our different ways in doing things, and and then just trying to support children and do whatever we could on our everyday jobs. But it came back around once we were fully engulfed with becoming sole caretakers and givers for our parents.
Mm.
And we got, firsthand dose of what that meant for, someone being really close to us, in spite of all the other people that we saw them help. So our why is, we want to keep serving. We want to keep helping. We want to be able to take the information that we gain through our experience and be able to help someone else with their experiences and help them prepare before they get to the point. And then as a business, so that we can be able to financially support, our families and leave a legacy and be, and this be a generational, increase for children, grandchildren, and so on, whoever, we can help out.
Okay. So I'm going to come to you, Auntie Audrey, who is TikTok famous for Bathroom Sanctuary. What do you, and I know everybody said it, but I want to hear from each auntie. Come on. What is your why?
Well, in conjunction with everything that's already been said, I just want to add on, we have to thank Kim, first of all, who sat down November, I think it was, when we were at home and added Clubhouse to our phone without our permission. She told us we were going to be on Clubhouse, and she got us connected. We didn't know anything about a Clubhouse, the three of us sisters, because we were kind of sort of resolving to, well, we're going to just come home and sit down and put our legs up, and we're going to, after we retire, we're, like Jennifer said, we were all getting there. Well, God undoubtedly had a different side of what he wanted us to do. But after Kim connected us with Clubhouse, God began to speak to us, and we were in the midst of actually taking care of our parents, our mom and our dad. And that is actually how things really got stirred up and on fire, because not only did we join the community with Mompreneur, with Dr. Tavis, but she began to see in us what we couldn't see. But even before then, God gave us a mandate. And he spoke and he said that he called the three of us to be the foundation for starting and providing services for caretakers and teaching them how to take care of themselves while they take care of their loved ones. And that's what this is basically all about. So with that in mind, it's been over a year now that we've been, God has been dealing with us and helping us and showing us how to bring this whole business together, because there are certain areas that he has given us to even focus on. You talked about the mental aspect and the physical aspect in our business, in this whole community of what we're doing. We look at physical well-being. We look at emotional support. We consider mental stimulation for the caretakers. We look at safety and environment. We look at social connections. We look at the financial piece. We even look at and talk about and connect with people on the end of life planning, because there is so much that is involved in taking care of your loved one. And a lot of times, because like Cynthia said, we're all God blessed us to all be connected somehow in the medical field, to the point where we see it every day. We see people who are struggling. They're faced with having to take their loved one home, and most of them are not prepared. So this is an opportunity for us to serve in a large capacity of educating, informing, helping, supporting those of whom we come in contact with on how to do it, and to do it with our three pillars. We have 4 pillars for our business. God gave them to us: faith, hope, love through prayer. Faith, hope, and love through prayer. And I was really grateful. We heard you say something about faith as you open up this evening. You started out with a prayer. You talked about faith, and you talked about the importance of coming together and doing this with the right attitude. And that's the other thing too, like one of my sisters said, you everyone can't do this.
Mhm.
But to those who are willing to do it, we want them to understand that it's not just something you do. This is an assignment and this is a calling. And it's very important to make sure that people, whoever's you're having to do this with you, that they, number one, understand what they're doing, and number two, that they have the support that they need. So that's our why. That's just a continuation of what they already said. I didn't want to repeat what everyone else said, but I wanted to bring those points out as well as to why we do what we do. Number one, to glorify the Father, because he told us this is what he wanted us to do. He made it very clear, this is my business. I'm just going to show you how to do it. And number two, as a legacy, as Jennifer said, for our parents and our grandparents, and something that our children can be proud of as well. Thank you.
Praise God. Faith, hope, love, and prayer. To God be the glory. Kim, what am I going to call you? Phone bandit? Clubhouse admin phone. You took everybody's phone and put Clubhouse. And it started with you. So
I did.
So you tell me what this means to you. Like, it's amazing. So let me just say, it's so needed, especially these times, because people think that taking care of relatives, your mom, your dad, it's an easy that task is not easy at all. So Kim, tell me what this means to you, and then we'll give it to Lonette.
So Hope by the Bay. It's a tremendous honor to be able to do a business like this, especially with your family. I've watched them over the course of the years, like my mom was saying, not just take care of my grandparents, but they've taken care of so many people. And so many. If you speak to anybody in the community that they live in, everybody has everything good to say about them. And it was something that just more than my family needed to see. So they're saying that I did put it on their phone. I did put Clubhouse on their phone, but I saw the blessing that each one of them was to me in my life. Not just me, but all of my cousins, their children, our friends, even my friends, they want to call my mama Mom. As a matter of fact, I was talking to somebody today and I was like, yeah, my mama, she said, our mom. No, ma'am, that's my mom. But I try to share as much as I can, but because there's something on the inside of them. And I always thought that all families were the same. I thought that everybody's family was like ours. And I'm not saying that we're perfect, because we're absolutely not perfect. And if you ask too many questions, you might get some answers that may shock you. But with everything that's gone on in our lives, everything that's gone on in our family, the one thing that remains the same is that we're still going to love one another. And that's something that they share with me. That is something that they've instilled in us. And that was something that I felt like everybody else should know about. And that's actually where the name Hope by the Bay came from. So their parents, my grandparents, they live on Bay Street. And that's where Bay comes from. Because everybody would come over there. Even if you hear their cousins talk, they talk about how everybody wanted to come to my grandparents' house. They would all come down for the summer or on the weekends or whatever. They would do whatever they did, have fun, and my grandmother would do whatever she did to correct. And but they knew that she was doing it in love. And the name, we wanted to do a play on their maiden name, which is Hopkins. And so if you look at our logo, Hope, you'll see the capital HOP for Hopkins. And the hope is something that, we love Jesus. Our hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. So we wanted to give people hope as they were caring for their loved ones or the care recipient. We want you to understand that if you keep hope in your heart and keep that hope at the forefront, you can get through this.
Yes.
So that's where the name Hope by the Bay came from. So hopefully, yeah, that's what we did. And that's why I love to see them. And then when we get into the self-care, I'll mention why I just absolutely love this for these three ladies.
Praise God. See, get the tissue. I got lashes on. Y'all playing too much. Lonette, Coach Lonette, giving it to you.
This is just so amazing how you all are helping caregivers through your own experience. And my two grandmothers passed away. My paternal grandmother, her birthday was actually 2 days ago. And I wish that we had a Hope by the Bay around, because not many families have the support system that they need in place. They don't have the knowledge that they need. They don't have the information that they need to deal with the medical part, to deal with the social, the financial, and then the end of life planning as well. And so this is something that not only needs to be at Bay Street, but it needs to be online. So that you can help others as well, because it is definitely needed. And many people who take care of their parents or grandparents or even their children with special needs, this is something that will definitely benefit many, many families. And I look forward to seeing you all grow, because I watched my uncles and my aunts take care of both of my grandmothers. I tried to chip in as much as I could because of the distance. And the times that I did, I wish I had more knowledge and more information and more support, and for them as well. But taking care of yourself as a caretaker, as a parent, as anyone who is taking care of another, isn't just about maintaining balance. It's essential for avoiding these potential pitfalls and ensuring that you're able to serve others without sacrificing your own well-being. So one of those that you can sacrifice is your sleep. If you don't get the sleep that you need, you may turn into someone else. Many caregivers struggle with getting adequate sleep, often getting less than 6 hours per night, which can impact their ability to provide care effectively and safely. When you lack sleep, sometimes you end up cranky, you get forgetful. There's a number of things that will not function properly without adequate sleep. And then there's isolation and lack of self-care. Due to the responsibilities that a caregiver has, they often neglect their own health and social needs, leading to increased stress, burnout, and decreased life satisfaction. Regular self-care routines are critical, but often overlooked. If you need to pass it on to a friend, to a sibling, someone that you can trust so that you can go for a walk, go see a movie, go talk with a friend, get out of the current location of where you are and see some sunlight, get some vitamin D, do what you have to do to take care of yourself. And of course, do not isolate yourself. Get the support that you need from family, from friends, from colleagues. There's EEO at maybe your place of employment. There are different places, even therapy if needed. Approximately 40% of caregivers report high emotional stress from the responsibilities of caregiving. So implementing regular self-care routines can reduce the risk of caregiver burnout, improve mental health, and increase overall life satisfactions. Now, we're going to add some life application steps, but what do you ladies think about these facts that I just mentioned?
Lonette, you hit the nail on the head, because all of those are so important and so critical. I couldn't help but just sit here and shake my head and like, big yes, because that self-care part is important. when you can't get all the sleep that you need, just know that you have to make some sacrifices and decide, okay, do I really need to go out, or do I really need to go to this game, or do I really need what? No, maybe you need to do like what I like to do on Sunday evenings about 3 or 4 o'clock, is take me a nap.
I love a good Sunday nap.
And some evenings when I get off work and I get here with Aaron and Daddy, then my oldest brother, if he's still here, or somebody else is here, I'll sneak back here and take me a nap then. Because as I was saying earlier, you have to resolve in your mind to expect the unexpected. And if you remember that, then maybe you won't get so upset when the routine is inconsistent. There are some things that you can, place on a routine, and some things that you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to take care of myself, or this is how we do it, when you're caregiving. But when that gets interrupted by whatever it is, maybe the care recipient, has gone outside and you can't really find them, and that has happened a few times. Then
I know that. I know that.
And it happens, maybe you went to the bathroom, maybe you went to change clothes, and all of a sudden you come back up front and that person is gone outside to feed the dog, and then walking across the street to the neighbors, something like that. So you have to just remember, okay, expect the unexpected. Keep that in mind. But like you say, so that you don't get thrown off and just taking those little moments that you can to take a good deep breath, and don't take every situation so serious, but laugh at some.
That's right.
And include that care recipient in the laughs, so that you can keep it light at times. Whenever you can, keep it light. But now, there are those moments during that transition period when it first happened and you're realizing that, there's a big change. Those are some dark days because one, you have to accept that there is a change and my person is not the same. And you have to realize that, okay, some different things are happening here. So how do I get through this? How do I change my mind? And taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit is so important. And being connected, as I said earlier, to community or someone. It helps me to be able to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and have the worship with the mompreneur. It helps me to be able to do all of that and not have to be visible, but be able to hear worship music, hear a teaching, and then on the weekends, come in and out of different rooms. But then even I get to a time and a moment that I have to even shut some of that off and not hear the outside. And the other thing that you said was so crucial, which was one of the things that came to me, is that sometimes you have to just get away from that environment so that you can take a deep breath, and be restored and find out what it is that helps you to be restored. And it connects with one of the other questions that I think about when I leave work. I'll tell people sometimes, okay, I'm leaving this job, I'm going to my other, but this one is actually more fun because I can, I've learned to appreciate, and I look forward to what I'm doing. And I remember my brother who's the truck driver, he said that himself. He said, people who are around me, if they can't accept that this is what I do, he said, because I look forward to doing this. And my other brothers, they do it. But yet we've got a sister-in-law she and her brother, at home, who is taking care of their mom. So they have to switch up. It's not as many of them. So they have had to make some other adjustments, like cameras hiring someone to come in so that they can take the time. So you have to realize that you make lots of adjustments. And as you said, you could not be there physically for your family. Well, that was where Audrey was. That's where Kim was, and Ashley and the other grands that lived out of town. But it's so important that you find out what you can do, because there are many times that you may be on the phone, which was what they would do, and they would have conversations with mom and daddy, and they would get the information and they feed it back to us, and then we would be able to physically be there to act on it. So everyone can't handle the physical, everyone is not built to handle the financial, and everyone is not built to handle the business. So you find out what you can do. As she says, it's a family affair, so that you can take care. One of our brothers who is here pretty much every day during the week. On the days that he is not here, he stays home so he can relax. Our other brother who comes in and out, because he works with their funeral home, then he comes to do what he can and to fill in and take care of a lot of the business part. And they're the ones that take them to the doctor. Those kind of things. So you have to find out what it is. It doesn't matter whether your family is a family of 6 main ones that take care, or you're a family of 1 or 2. You find out what you can do, get some help from the outside so that you can take care of yourself. Because everyone, the example that's always used about the airplane, you got to have the oxygen mask on so that you can take care of the other one. And also, spiritually, we can't pour from an empty tank. We've got to be full in order to be able to pour and share with our loved ones, so that we're not grouchy and it does not become an adult abusive situation. So you've got to find out what you can do, but you got to take some moments for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Jennifer. Oh my goodness. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You just cannot. And it's so important that we get filled, and that filling may look different for everyone. We had Coach Anisha 2 weeks ago when she talked about self-care and self-maintenance. It's so important that we take the time to take care of ourselves, and don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed to ask for help when you need it. I was grateful because with one of my grandparents, some members of the church, some retired members came in to fill in, and one of my grandmothers sang hymns all the time, so they knew hymns that I never heard of before, and they were able. She sung, and my thing with her was dancing, and she loved my cooking, and so me cooking for her brightened up her day. And it's find that one thing that you can do, especially when it comes to someone that's dealing with dementia. You find a way to work with what they are working with, and you meet them where they are. So life can get very busy, especially for those who wear many hats, like parents, caretakers, employees, employers even, and the list goes on. We're going to stop part 1 here, and we're going to thank everyone for joining us for part 1 of the Thriving Spiritually and Physically Self-Care Practices for a Healthier Life. Please join us next Thursday for part 2 with JustKim and the Hopkins family. Thank you. As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude to you, our listeners. Transitioning from bitter to beautiful isn't just a moment, it's a movement, a continuous journey of transforming pain into power, one heart at a time.
And to all our first-time listeners, welcome to the family. We are a community of souls committed to healing, growth, and transformation. Click on the link in the bio to subscribe to our mailing list and tune in every week. When you subscribe, you'll also receive information about our live pop-up rooms on Clubhouse.
As we embrace life's journey and find the beauty in overcoming bitterness, remember, bitterness isn't beautiful, and your healing is just the beginning of a beautiful new chapter.
Don't forget, new episodes are released every Saturday. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Listen Notes, there is a space for you here to find healing, inspiration, and strength.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep embracing the journey, keep healing, and keep transforming. Here's to turning all our bitter experiences into beautiful victories. See you next time.